righteous Sangha out of compassion for the sake of this assembly and all living beings. Please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức tặng thinh, vì thứ pháp hội cấp nhất thiết chúng sanh, tình chuyên diệu pháp luân giao đạo ngã môn, như há liêu sanh thoát tư lý khổ đạt lạc, tất chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Sa Nan Thô Su Chế Đô Ye A La Hô Đi San Miao San Pu Tô Xie. Nam mô Ta Đắc Tha Tô Ya Đa Ya A La Hô Đi Tam Miêu Nam Bồ Đà Tọa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I'm able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng sheng wei miao fa bai jian wan jie nan zao yu, wo jin jie wen de shou qu, yan jie ru lai chen shi yi. O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Venerable Huong, Venerable YongHua, Venerable Outflows people, and all good no advisors, Emitofuo. 诸佛菩萨、六祖、师父、上人、各位出家人、各位上居士，阿弥陀佛。Chư Phật Bồ Tát, kính thưa lục tổ, hòa thượng Kiên Hóa, quý thầy cô, cả quý vị và quý vị thiện tri thức A Di Đà Phật. Today is the 28th of March 2021. We are here at the Wei Mountain Temple to continue discussing the last chapter of the Sixth Patriarch Sutra, chapter 10, his final instructions. Thank you all for joining us. Okay, so current slide is number 24. Before I forget, the baby there, baby girl there, if the mother can get a small one-year statue for her to carry here, would be good for her. Does she have a small one-yin statue? Good. Sutra Text. Thus, the 18 realms arise as a function of the self-nature.
如是18界，皆从自性起用。
Okay, so the sixth patriarch is teaching his disciples how to speak Dharma, especially in particular. When you speak Dharma, you expect people to ask you hard questions. And so he's training them on the technique on how to do this. And it's something, it's not just for speaking Dharma, but actually it's the debate skills. When you talk to people that you want to persuade or go into a verbal argument, this is a way that these are the skills that you can use, anyone can use, okay? In particular, it's particularly effective for speakers of the Dharma. Commentary slide 25. Thus the 18 realms arise as a function of self-nature, okay? So The 18 realms is meaning that the whole ball of wax, everything. Okay, 18 realms meaning that you have the 6 sense organs inside of you. Outside there is the 6 dust, meaning you have the eye sees the form, the ears hear the sound. So the ears is a one sense organ. Hearing the sound is a dust, the 6 dust. Okay, that corresponds to 6 sense organs. Sight, eye sees sights, ear hears sounds, tongue tastes flavors. Like today, how do you like the noodle today? It's very strong. No? Okay. It's very good. And so you see, you have these 12, and in between, you have the consciousness that connects the two, that enables us to gather information. Okay? So that's how we experience the external world. Okay? No one is above that. We all go through that unless you are an AI robot. All right. And he says the 18 realms, what we experience, arise as a function of the self-nature. So these experiences that we go through, okay, originate from the self-nature, from your Buddha nature, from our Buddha nature, okay? And it's a function of Buddha nature, okay? So now you have the concept of this Buddha nature. Is it supposed to be just a Buddha nature? The Buddha nature is supposed to do something. It cannot just be, I'm in the Buddha nature, I'm retired. Even if you retire as a Buddha nature, you still are doing something, aren't you? You see? So the self-nature is doing something. That's what we call function, okay? It's doing something, okay? It's applying itself to do something. Like you go to work, yes? We beg. So we both are doing something, right? So that's the function of our self-nature. So our self-nature can see through the 18 realms, can hear through the 18 realms, can feel through the 18 realms. You see that? The self-nature is connected with life. So far, so good. Next. 26, Sutra Text. If the self-nature is deviant, it gives rise to 18 deviants. If the self-nature is proper, it gives rise to 18 propers.
自性若邪，起18邪；自性若正，起18正。
Okay, and then he further explains life. There's a difference between deviant and proper, like it or not. You can deny it all you want. It's something called proper, something called deviant. Okay? He says, if the self-nature is deviant and gives rise to 18 deviants, okay, then it means that if the nature, the self-nature is used wrongly, okay, then will give rise to 18 deviants. However, if the self-nature is properly used, then we rise to the 18 propers. That's simple. So you need to be careful. If you apply yourself with the deviant motives, then you're creating deviancy. If you live your life and do the proper things, then you're creating a proper environment. Pay attention, politicians. This is very important. Pay attention, parents. If you have children, you do the proper things, your children will be proper. It has consequences. Okay? You cannot say, this is my life and it's okay, no one's going to know. They don't need to know. Deviant is deviant, no one else needs to know. Okay? The self-nature knows. All right? Next, 28. Sutra Text. Evil functioning is that of a living being, while good functioning is that of a Buddha. What is a functioning based on? It is based on opposing dharmas within the self-nature. Wow.
若恶用即众生用，善用即佛用，用由何等？由自性有对法。
Okay, this is beautiful, how the Chinese do it. Pay attention, this is so Chinese, okay? We need to learn from these Chinese. I need to learn with these Chinese. He says, evil functioning is that of a living being, while good functioning is that of a Buddha. Comments, what does it mean to you? Did I tell you this morning I experienced some deviancy from my master? He made me drop his Pure Land cassette tapes 4 times. That's pretty deviant. Never mind. But we're back talking 6th Patriarch here. We spare the master for a while. Evil functioning is that living being. What is it telling you? If you're a living being, yes, Orange?
You're not on the way, you're evil functioning.
You are doing evil. It's beautiful how the Chinese insult us. You know? And you know, when you read through this quickly, you don't even notice, right? But here, actually, they're calling us deviant. The communists are calling us deviant. So sad. See that? That's what he's saying. If you're a living being, your functioning, the functioning of the self-nature of a living being is evil. It's very, very powerful statement. Questions, comments? Hey, don't get upset at me. This is from Master Huineng, Chinese. Huh? Yes, give her a microphone. The Guo Yin person. Or I think.
I was thinking that's why living beings revolve around the wheel.
Yes, but that doesn't address the evil issue. Evil to me like IKEA. No? This is so Buddhist, not just Master Huineng, not just the Chinese. The Buddhists are saying, the Buddha, actually this comes from the Buddha. Buddha says, living beings are confused. That's why they create karmas, bad karmas. In particular, lots of bad karmas. Okay? And that's why, to the Buddha's eyes, he sees living beings are doing evil. Okay? And that's called evil functioning. Okay? Whereas a Buddha only has good functioning. What is a Buddha? What is he referring to? Enlightened people. Buddha here represents enlightenment. When you are in a state of enlightenment, you're doing good functioning. You're having good functioning. When you are not in an enlightened state, you're doing evil functioning. Questions, comments? So Master Chien Tông, when you're cooking in the kitchen, are you doing evil functioning or doing good functioning? Black.
I'm doing good function, Master.
No hesitation. I'm doing good functioning. Amen. Aren't we glad? I mean, absolutely, yeah. All right. All right. So that's what I'm saying. When you are enlightened, then you're capable of good functioning. When you're in a state of a mindset of a living being, you're doing evil functioning, like it or not. All right? So far, so good? This is it. That's all he says. Take it whatever is worth. What is the functioning based on? Okay. Let's talk about functioning. It is based on opposing dharmas within the self-nature. It says this functioning, this use here, okay, is based on the duality that exists within the self-nature. The self-nature has everything, among which is the opposing dharmas, plus minuses, black, white, man, woman, yin, yang, warm, cold, and so forth, okay? Those are dual pairs that he's talking about. And he says that because of the existence of these dual pairs, these pairs of opposites, that's how the functioning arises. Don't try to understand, okay? Because you ask more, I mean, I can't understand. How is that? Next. See how quickly I escaped? Huh? Children, learn that. Don't allow them to ask questions when you know you can't answer. Sutra Text. External insentient beings, things have 5 pairs of opposites: heaven and earth, sun and moon, light and darkness, yin and yang, and water and fire.
外境无情无对，天与地对，日与月对，明与暗对，阴与阳对，水与火对，此是五对也。
Okay, very good. So he says things, okay, can classify as having opposites, 5 pairs of opposites. So he says opposite between heaven and earth, okay? So, for example, in China, they call the emperor, okay, as a son of heaven, okay, who sent down to earth to rule the earth. Okay? So you have this clear separation between heaven and earth. Okay? They're opposites. In fact, truth be told, heaven rules earth. The gods rule over us, like it or not. So, for example, not so much here in America until recently, until last week. Something happened that's quite often, it's quite well known in Asia cultures. What happened last week? Anyone remember? Anyone watches the news at all? There is a surfer, female surfer, Olympic surfer, who... Yes, Brady? You're lost. Complete the sentence. Who? Pink.
The surfer was she killed by lightning?
That's right.
was struck
An
by lightning?
Olympic surfer was practicing for practicing, and she was killed. She was in her 20s. She was killed by lightning. In Asia, it happens quite a bit. That heavens decides to strike you with lightning and kill you. So we know that in Asian cultures. You Asians agree or disagree? At least in my generation, we're aware of the fact that lightning strikes are an omen that it's a very strong message from the heavens. Because God, Zeus, on those people. Okay? They strike a lightning. They can use lightning to strike human beings. Because they rule over us. Okay, so it's not surprising, for example, that the Christian God who lives in the heavens, okay, is actually managing us, a group of us. Okay? Billions of people, billion Catholics. He's ruling over those Catholics. I can't see the typical. Yeah, okay? Yeah. All right. So heaven and earth, okay? That's opposite. Sun and moon, okay? Light and darkness, okay? Sun and moon, okay? And the bright stars, the biggest, brightest star, okay? And the nearer star, close to us, light and darkness. Okay, and yin and yang, water and ice. So far, so good. So, the master, elaborates on these pairs of opposites. Okay, you don't need to memorize them. I'm lazy. I don't like to memorize. Okay, so just understand the general concept. Okay, so things are characterized by opposites. That's all. Yin and yang, light and dark. That's all. So far, so good? Next, 32. In speaking of the marks of dharmas, one should delineate 12 opposites: speech and dharmas, existence and non-existence, form and formlessness, the marked and the unmarked.
法相语言12对，语与法对，有与无对，有色与无色对，有相与无相对。
Okay, 33, commentary. He says, when you speak, you talk. They like this, they speak of the marks of Dharma. See, when you speak about things, okay? When you speak, you mention things. Jewel Mountain has a question.
Joomi asks, when I talk to people at my job as a therapist, it is very common for people to have a mental scar from being discriminated against other siblings by parents. I feel I have my limitation to help them because I have a mental scar just like them. How can I overcome this problem?
You better check with a therapist. Miss Therapist, you care to make a comment? Green. It just happened that we have a therapist okay, here with us. Applause.
So this is
Clowning around too much. Yes.
It's a common phenomenon when you're a therapist that if you have an unhealed area part of your life, you draw it from your patients. I mean, you're going to end up with patients who bring that to you because it's not resolved inside of you yet. You
Right.
haven't, right?
Right.
Like attracts like.
Right. The Catholic is here. Just in time. Hallelujah. Okay. So how do you fix it? The question, what can she do?
Well, now that she's aware of it, she should be working on that issue herself so that she can help people who come to her in the future with that problem. That's not a rare problem. That's something that's going to come up again and again.
You mean you have it too?
Yes.
Can we get personal?
No, I have people that come to me with that problem. That's a pretty common one.
Okay. Anyone else? Non-professional? Okay. I'll give you my non-professional 2 cents worth. The 2 issues here. Okay. The training she's receiving as a therapist will help her, the techniques that you learn in school on how to help people with those issues. That's one. Isn't that right, Daniel? You know, you learn. That's why you go to school. You give your degree because they certify that you learn and you know about these skills. So that's why you are certified to be able to help people with those types of issues, supposedly, okay, theoretically, okay? So you know the techniques and the theory behind it. So that's one thing. That's why you can make your living and you do your thing, you help people. And definitely, if you're certified that you can help people, I believe so. You can help people, that's for sure, okay? The second issue, so the first issue is not a problem. So if you go to school, you get certified to get a degree and you get certification to do so and so, then you qualify to help others in your field of counseling. The second part is about herself, okay? Then she can use the same tools on herself. No? I'm kidding, okay? And that's what Mary Jo said. Basically, to echo her, your patients, when you see your patients, they actually are the mirror. They will mirror your psychological scars. So it's a fantastic thing. So that when you see these people, and their problems actually bring out problems from yourself, okay? So it's not so much you need to fix them. It's the number one you need to be aware of, and number two, if you're aware of, eventually you find a way to resolve it. There's no one solution. You have so many ways to fix it, okay? And Chan meditation is one, okay? Why so? You're suffering because of your attachments. Psychological scars are no more than old attachments, very strong attachments. And Chan meditation, as you improve in Chan meditation, your level increases, okay? It makes it a lot easier for you to release those attachments. If you stay pat, your attachment will remain strong and overwhelming for you. So for you, if you wish to deal with your psychological problems, not just psychological problems, any problems, like your wife, your husband, okay, your spouse, okay? If you want to fix that problem, improve, then you look at the problem differently. So it's kind of a cool thing. Chan meditation definitely will help resolve these psychological scars, okay? I have scars too, myself. Do I? Okay, can I tell you one? You said yes too fast. Now I don't want to tell you anymore. You nosy people. Even Qin Qiang, she's wide awake, you know. I love my mom. I don't know about you, but mom is very dear in my heart. And you're so you're so bad. You're too Asian. Good Lord. So when several years ago, when my mom and I got into a very big fight, it really hurt. It took 3 years to recover. 3 years. It hurts. Okay? Physically, it hurts. At night, you meditate and you say, oh my God, it's so painful. So every night, it hurt. Every single night. 3 years. And why happened after 3 years? What happened? I'm not going to tell you. I don't trust you. You're going to tell my mom. Moving on. You see that? Everyone has psychological scars. She's not the only one. Anyone else would like to share your secret? It's not fair. Why do I have to go first and then you guys chicken out? Aha, Chin Xiang. Black blue.
Mô Phật thầy, cái này thầy đừng có buồn, cái này cũng là nghiệp chướng như nhau thôi. Đừng có buồn.
I'm no longer triste. I'm no longer sad. I got rid of her. So the point here is that I'm trying to tell Joomi in South Korea is that my personal experience has been that I was divorced too. It hurt too, but never that bad, never that long, but meditation does wonders, because what happened is that my personal experience with my mom is similar to her experience with her patients. The patient or her patients or my mom remind me, bring out my deep, deep attachments. So it's fantastic. So you look at that as an opportunity to spot your attachments, and then you meditate on that, and you get rid of them eventually. That's my experience. Okay? So there's hope for you. I find that the reason that meditation helps is because when it hurts so much, you ask yourself every day, you say, why do I let this happen to me? And then one day you decided, no, I'm too busy. I cannot afford to have this anymore. Get rid of her, period. So move on. Yes. Green.
I grew up with a pretty rageful father, and that pretty much kind of...
now we're into this. Now we're going to be stuck here.
But this is interesting, because I left my family to sort of separate myself from that problem. But you can't, even if you're physically separated from it, it's still inside of you. And so
carry it with you. It's just a scar. That's why they call it scar. It's still there.
And so I started my career, and I started noticing that every time I went to a different company, my boss was a rageful boss.
You see his father everywhere.
And it took me, I have had probably 4 or 5 different jobs, and every job was a slightly less intense version of my father. Until now, I've reached a kind of equanimity that I haven't reached so far, and definitely because of Chan's help, but it's taken my whole life to try to get through this.
It's happens a lot more often than you think, okay? Because our parents, as the professionals tell us, they cause a lot of problems because they're doing evil functioning. Can we be real? You say, I love my children, I love my siblings. It's still evil functioning. We scar the people we love. That applies to the spy number 1. You provoke her, she's going to comment on you. Okay, purple. This woman is fearless.
Mô Phật và Thầy, mình từ nhỏ đến tới lớn á, thì mình ở trong cái bóng tối thôi. Khổ sở tới như vậy đó. Ở bóng tối ở trong cái bóng tối mình đâu có thấy đường đâu, có mò không à. Càng mò thì nó càng khổ. Tới mình mà biết Phật Pháp rồi đó, thì mình từ từ nó ra một cái ánh sáng. Thầy mới cho mình thấy được là cái nào phải, cái nào quấy, là cái đó là cái rõ ràng nhất. Rồi mình từ nhỏ tới lớn đó là mình núp ở trong cái bóng tối thôi. Bởi vì cái chuyện gì mình cũng làm được hết á. Rồi mình miễn mà ở trong cái bóng sáng đó, thì mình mặt trời nó chói vô thì mình đâu có thấy những cái bóng tối là cái gì đâu, phải không? Mô Phật, con có ý kiến gì vậy Mô Phật?
Master, since I was little up until I grow up, I live in darkness. I don't see anything. So basically I would just walk in darkness until I know about Buddhism. That's when I see light. I know what is right, what is wrong. And then the Buddhism is like the sun that shines over all of the darkness. So that's what I experience.
Okay, very good. And one more comment to South Korea is that I think this lady here may have some excessive expectations of her jobs. Okay, I think in terms of therapists and counselors, you know you can't really fix the problem. It's not your job to fix the problems, honestly. Your job is to make sure they improve incrementally. Yes? Because you can't fix the problem. There you go. Now we're opening a new can of worms. Green.
It's funny because in school you learn all the techniques and all the strategies and the right thing to say and the right research to quote, and then you realize it's not about that at all. It's about the relationship you build with them. Just being there,
Right.
being a presence with them and listening is the healing part.
Right.
You don't have to come up with the brilliant strategies. No.
Yes, Catholic. They specialize in counseling, you know that. They all have degrees in psychologists or something. They know everything about us.
So in my job that I do, the first thing they tell us is that you cannot fix the problems for the clients. They have their own way to fix their own problems. We're just there to guide them and provide services as much as we can. For example, if they don't want to get clean for drugs, we just provide, here's the number. If you ever want to get yourself clean, you call this number. or call me and I'll help you. But we don't force them. We cannot do anything for them.
I see.
They do
So
it
the
themselves.
number is a suicide number. You want to kill yourself? Call this number.
Yeah, that's what we do.
See? See, the
And-
Catholics
but
do
if they-
that.
If they do really want to kill themselves, we call the police and they take them to PT, whatever. They put them in a hole that they really want to have a plan.
Gotcha. You didn't catch it? You're about to pass out a suicide number. Okay, enough horsing around. Okay, Orange.
Thank you, Master. Having had some experience with therapists and with psychiatrists.
Receiving end, you mean?
Yes.
Having been on the receiving end. Yes, okay.
Having been the mirror.
Cool.
Having
Now
been
we
the
hear
mirror, so
from
to speak.
perspective of the victims.
Something that was critical to the healing process for a scar is being willing to confront the pain. And that's something that Chan has taught me more than anything else in my life, because it hurts like hell when you first start. And the natural impulse I had was, ow, stop, and don't do it anymore. But in order to actually help yourself, you have to learn to accept the pain as a good thing. And, not as a criticism or a critique of the therapist that I worked with, but that was never presented as a tool. When you're dealing with scars that your parents provided you with through their love, it hurts to confront that. And more often than not, my experience was, well, why do I want to deal with that pain? I'll just bury it deep, deep inside. Maybe it's at the bottom of this glass. I don't know, but I can find out. Maybe it's at the bottom of this bag of French fries. I don't know, but I can find out. Maybe that wasn't the right bag of French fries. Maybe there's another bag of French fries that has the answer in it. I could go on. But really, what Chan has taught me is you have to be willing to be present with the pain of these scars to have any change on yourself.
Okay, therapists, defend yourselves. Green.
He's right.
He's right?
He's
That's
right.
all?
No, he's
Oh,
right.
we pay you how much? $85 an hour? What?
What I would say about that is that a lot of people come to therapy thinking because
I'm shocked.
they're not thinking about their problem, or it happened 25, 30 years ago. It's gone, it's out there somewhere. And I always tell them, no, it's still inside you. It doesn't magically disappear into the ethers. Your body's holding it. So you have to feel it in order to heal it. There's no way around that.
Catholic. I want to catch this guy. Yes? What do you have to say for your profession?
I agree with both of them, so.
You agree too?
Yeah.
Very good. YouTube comment.
Tran says, no matter who hurts or harms, learn to forgive them from within, because if they knew they hurt themselves, then they would not do as they did. Find a kind way to resolve in time for all.
What's her name again?
Her name was Tran.
Is it, what ethnicity is this? Because,
Not
the
sure.
Canadian has their own accent, so I need to verify. I'm kidding. Okay, very good. Caution, all of you, be careful now. This lady here just brought up healing by what? The intellect. What do we call that? Fooling yourself. Be careful. Okay? You can only heal by letting go of the attachment. You cannot heal by saying, no, it doesn't hurt. Or it only hurts when. Okay, you're not getting rid of the root cause of the problem. The attachment is the cause of the hurt, of the pain. You have to let go. I told you already. You can bring my mother in front of me right now. It's like a stranger. See? At least I like to think intellectually. You too, yes.
Emily says, the best way is to face it head on. Just like quitting a bad habit, one needs to do it cold turkey.
If you want to drop the attachment, you have to see what the attachment, you need to see the attachment. That's what facing it means. Okay? When you meditate, you do Chan, and you face the leg pains, but keeping looking at the pain, it has the effect of helping you let go. That's the secret in Chan. This is why there's no substitute for facing your pain. There's no substitute. That's what I love about the Chinese Chan. That secret right there, my master brought to this country, Master Xuan brought to this country. And it's shocking to me that his disciple decided not to use it. This is the secret of Chan, is that you cannot let go until you face it, until you face the deep pain in there. Okay? You cannot just tell yourself, no, it doesn't hurt, or it hurts because so and so and so. So if I move south, then it won't hurt as much, and and so forth. I substitute it with something else. All you're doing is putting what in Buddhism we call putting a rock on top of the grass. It stops growing for a while while the rock is on top of the grass, but as soon as you move the rock, the grass grows again. You're not getting rid of the root cause of the problem. Okay? So that's what I mean by intellectual healing. You look at you use the rock as an intellectual tool to appease yourself temporarily. But the root cause is still there. And only Chan is the Buddhist technique for identifying the root cause of the problem and then teach you how to get rid of it. That's the only way to fix the problem. You want to get rid of the grass, you have to uproot the grass. You can't keep on cutting it. That's not going to work. All right? Okay. Are we okay? Okay. How do you get into therapy and all these things? Evil functions. Okay. So again, when I read this sutra a long time ago, and a few years ago again to prepare the slides for the lecture, I went to this section here, and I never really paid attention to the pairs and that kind of thing. This is the delineation to me is not that useful. It's just my personal approach, okay? This is good for scholarly. You say, okay, now I'm going to express, I'm going to describe to you, analyze to you, this whole gizmo of things between insentient things, material things versus your speaking and so forth. But it's okay. it's beautiful, because that's only because my level is low. It's so beautiful to see how the great master expertly classifies them into 36 pairs. It's ingenious. Okay? To have that kind of wisdom to be able to thoroughly analyze everything is fantastic. That's why his wisdom is incredible. Okay? So just because I gloss over it doesn't mean I don't admire. It's just that not very useful. Okay? Finally, the comment to the South Korean person. So is that when you work with someone, whether it's counseling someone or whether I'm teaching someone, okay, I have the same issue as you folks do. Okay? There's no way to get you enlightened immediately. So all we can do is help you feel better through improvements. Or you recite Buddha's name, you feel closer to going to the Pure Land. See? That's what you do. That's all we can do. Incremental improvements. Yes, back there.
Well, to me, it's like a Buddhist trying to convert a Catholic by saying you have to be Buddhist, but instead of I'm absorbing the information saying, okay, this is interesting. I'm still going to be Catholic, but this is interesting, so I could apply to some things in my life. But I feel it's the same thing. You just give the information to the person, and he decides what to do with that information.
Yeah, it's not, you can always make progress immediately. But the point here is that this lady from Korea feels that she must help. I'm trying to tell her that you can't always help. Okay? In my personal experience, I can't always teach you. That's why I'm here every weekend looking at you and said, what's taking you so long? Okay? All right. Next, 34, Sutra Text. The presence of outflows and a lack of outflows form an emptiness, motion, stillness, clarity, and turbidity, the common and the sagely.
有漏与无漏对，色与空对，动与静对，清与浊对，凡与顺对，圣对。
Okay, so he continues. Venerable Master continues on the commentary on number 35. There is outflows or lack of outflows. Okay, in Buddhism, this is a concept. The Buddhists have a concept of outflows, which is very, very interesting. What is an outflow? Don't let the Catholic answer. They're gonna, it's so close. He's a Catholic. No. Okay, orange. Complaining is an outflow. Nagging, you mean? That too. Anyone else? What's outflow? Pink.
Eating.
Eating is an outflow. Really? You ingesting calories as an outflow? Wait. That's too much. You agree that eating is an outflow? Attachment is an outflow? To me, attachment means wealth. I'm very attached to money. That's why I'm wealthy. How is it an outflow? It's funny how Buddhists A lot of people learn Buddhism and learn about Avatamsaka Sutra and all those sutras and fancy Buddhist concepts. And when I ask them, what is an outflow? Oh. Anyone, what's an outflow? Green.
Being around a toxic person too long.
Being around what?
A toxic person.
A toxic person too long.
I don't know if that's really an outflow per se, but it sure feels like it. Personally, when you're around someone, it disturbs you so bad, and all you think about is getting away from them. So I suppose your Buddha nature is just going out the window.
I can identify with that. I have a lot of toxic people in my environment. Yes, white.
A Di Đà Phật, thầy lậu là cái nghĩa là rơi rớt lại. Rơi rớt lại là sao? Tức là mình cứ luân hồi lên xuống trong cái sáu cõi này gọi là lậu. So với cái chân tâm mình nó không có cái gì như hổm thầy giảng, cái bầu trời xanh không có gì hết. Còn bây giờ mình khởi một ý nghĩ là nó có một cái năng lượng, nó tạo một cái quả báo thiện hay ác gì đó, là nó cột lại là lậu đó.
Okay. Translation.
Master, outflow is something like remaining that bind people in the wheel of reincarnation that you revolve in the sixth realm, versus to the true mind is similar to the sky that's very clear, doesn't have anything. So basically, when you think, and then the thoughts arise, and then all of the good and bad things happen. So that's outflow.
Okay. YouTube.
Diego says, I think eating more than you need is an outflow.
Eating more than you need is an outflow. I call it having a good time. Be real, man. YouTube, yes.
Tran says greed is an outflow.
Grief is an outflow. Okay? Give me the color. Green.
Outflow feels to me that it's an outflowing of energy. And so it seems that you're losing energy through attachments, through your senses.
Okay, next. Raise your hand so that we can pass the mic to you. Orange.
Master, is it an outflow? Is the energy flowing out of your body when you not want it?
Going to where?
Flowing out when you don't want it?
When you go to lunch?
Don't want it.
When you don't want it. For example, having diarrhea. Okay. Anyone else? You too.
Relax Nation says, an outflow is attention to worldly things.
Attention to worldly things. What's wrong with that? My gosh, man, live it up. I mean, the Louvre recently opened and made their whole collection available online. Can you imagine? Online. Now you can look at all the precious work of arts online. The whole collection online, free. That's the best part. Free. Huh? I wouldn't call that an outflow. I would watch it all day. I feel very happy. YouTube.
Diego says, maybe an outflow is what drains your energy or attention, taking you to the outside instead of the inside.
Okay, and people are nodding their heads right there. Yes, Orange.
Becoming or expressing rage.
This guy is fixated on rage. Are you married? Just kidding. Just kidding. Yes, Catholic. I need sometime I spell it out so that you see the proclivity. Yes.
I think, I don't know, but I feel that outflow is anything that comes out of you, like it could be negative or positive energy.
Okay, very good. Okay. All right. YouTube.
Emily says outflows is the 3 poisons.
The 3 poisons. Okay, very good. Stop. Enough, okay? Now you're getting me confused. I can't process all of it. Q&A from Go Force, and that's the last one. So much I can process. Yes.
Dạ, mô Phật, thưa Master, outflow có phải là cái bản ngã của mình, thành ra mình thấy cái gì nó cũng không có vừa ý mình. Is that your ego? Is that something?
It sounds like a really frustrated housewife. Never mind. Okay. YouTube still has an answer.
There is more answers, but I don't know if Master wants to hear them.
I probably do. Now you bring it
okay. Okay, so Tian Guo says, outflow is eating meat, killing, or doing anything unvirtuous is an outflow.
What are virtuous things? This woman is unreal. All right, very good. Okay, this is a very fundamental and very important Buddhist concept, Tran concept in particular. If you cultivate, whether you do Tran meditation or you recite the Buddha's name or you recite mantras, okay, any form of spiritual meditation, yoga and so forth, we have some yogis as well, and externalist practices, you need to understand the outflow concept because the Buddhists totally understand it. And because the Chan school is a very concept in the Chan school because you practice, have any form of practice at all, you need to understand what outflows are. If you don't, your practice will be haphazard. That's why I asked you. I asked you who understands what outflows is, okay? And based on your answers, I can tell that who can practice, have a sound spiritual practice versus who doesn't. That's why. And online people, you do not think that I just waste time and go around to buy time and waste time. No. It's to tell you, for you to learn to recognize who has a proper understanding, the proper foundation. Because outflow is a foundation. The outflow concept of foundation of spiritual practice or of what else? Life. You go through life, you don't understand outflow, you have a problem. I'm one of them. Okay? So what's outflow here is beautiful concept. Outflow, as the word says, is a loss to the outside. It's beautiful. Low. The Chinese is low, meaning what? Low. I think it means something. What does it mean? It's a leakage. It leaks out. It's not like when you boil spaghetti. Why do I still go back to food? Good thing she's sleeping. Okay? When you boil spaghetti, okay? And you're done, what do? You dump it, right? Is that an outflow? No, it's dumping. Outflow is it leaks out. A lot or little. But it's a leakage. If you overflow, it's an outflow, yes? You boil it too much, it flows out. That's also an outflow. But outflow here is much more dangerous when it's a leakage. So when you have outflow, that means it's undesirable to you. How come you worry about losing money? Anyone? Well, two of us. Okay? Losing love. Anyone? Okay? No, not me. I don't know what that is. Supposedly. So you see, the outflow is a loss that is unbeneficial, that's harmful to you. In the Tran concept, an outflow is harmful. It's not good for you. So wouldn't you want to know what an outflow is? When you practice Tran or in your daily life, what's an outflow? Yes? Because if you don't recognize the outflows, what happens to you? It's like anyone plays the stock market? Only two, okay, of us. I used to. Yeah. It's like you buy into the stock market and you see the stock prices going down, like the Tesla right now. It's going down and down and down and down. And what happens? When you see that, you worry, don't you? Right? No, you don't. Oh, God, you guys are unreal. You should worry. What are you talking about? Even Buffett has to worry. He has orange.
You need to consider your cost basis before you worry. If it can go down a little bit, that's expected.
This guy is too theoretical. I don't think he plays the stock market at all. He's unreal. He does?
Yeah.
Stop him. Stop him. It's not healthy. He's going to lose his shirt.
The outflow would be investing in GameStop and being in vigilante investment. Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Okay, YouTube has a question. Okay, take a rest. Go back to Del Taco.
Relax Nation asks, can we recharge this outflow?
Can we what? Recharge this outflow?
Can we recharge from the outflows?
I'm coming to that. So the point here is that outflow, when you hear outflow in the Buddhist concepts, particularly in Tran, is undesirable. It's a loss. Okay? All right? And the loss here is detrimental to you. Not just any loss. It's not just loss of money, loss of love, loss of a car, loss of a house, loss of a job. Okay? We talk about outflow in Tran, in cultivation, is detrimental. It's harmful to you. Totally unbeneficial. So far, so good. So that's why the concept of outflow is very, very important in life. If you let your life run wild with outflows, you're in big trouble. So far, so good. Typical example. A person who's a drug addict has but outflows. Agree or disagree? That's it. The guy's helpless. He has outflows all day. That's all he does. He's not replenishing. He only has outflows. Okay? Doesn't want to eat, doesn't want to drink. He only wants to take drugs. So the answer to can you replenish? Of course you can replenish. Okay? But the point here is that as you replenish, why would you allow the leakages to continue? So if you know that you have outflows, then you plug the leakage points. Yes? So that's very important. Very fundamental concept. You want to become rich. Anyone? I'm the only one. Huh? You want to become rich? What's the first rule of becoming rich? Not. It's a not. Waste money. Yes? Because if you make a lot of money, but you waste a lot of money, what's the big deal? You never become rich. The first thing we teach our children is not waste money. Not waste. Yes? Same thing. In practice, you try the Buddha's name, and you build up all this energy in yourself, and then you have an outflow. What's an outflow? You get upset at your neighbor for chanting the Buddha's name too loud. So you build up all this chi here in you, and then you say, why you recite so loud? And boom, it goes out. That's it. You're done. You start over again. You see that? So that's why the concept of outflow is so important. Okay? Stop the leakages. If you recognize the leakages, stop it. Otherwise, you're getting nowhere. You're going nowhere. And this is a fallacy of the people who are not skilled in Tran. In Tran, we teach you avoid outflows. Cut off the outflows. Okay? That's one of the first things we do is learn to cut off your outflows, whatever it is. If we tell you it's an outflow, cut it off. Whereas the other schools, they're making money, but they're not paying attention to the leakages. The losses in the stock market. Huh? You're buying stocks, but you're not paying attention to which stocks are decreasing in value. See that? So fundamentally, outflow is critical to life, whether secular life or spiritual life. So outflow to you people could be any kind of loss that you experience. Example, money. Huh? What else? That's all I can think of. I'm sorry. What else? Yes, Orange.
Power and freedom. You don't want to lose money, power, or freedom.
Power and freedom. I can think of wife. Okay, what else? Children. What else? Jobs. Huh? You have so many things that when you lose, it's detrimental to you. House, huh? Cars, shoes, your possessions. You let it lose. When you don't pay attention to it, it's not good for you. So far, so good? Okay, but all those are replaceable, aren't they? You can make more money, you can find another wife, yes? You can get another job, no? Good boy. My man. That's why I tried to teach Joseph today. I said, he told me, Master, teach me something. I said, I can only talk about girls. He said, and so I clarified, I said, I know nothing except about girls. So eventually I told her, you want to get along with girls? Lie to them. So you know what he did? He says, Mom, you're so beautiful, and he ran away. This kid has potential. So anyway, where were we? How did we get into girls again? So when you practice, okay, all these these material things, you lose them, you can replace them, okay? But in spiritually, there are certain losses that are very hard to replace, or sometimes are irreplaceable. So far, so good. First one, outflow is unnecessary or detrimental loss to you. Okay. Number two, okay, that is this in particular in the spiritual practices. This outflow here is actually will hinder your spiritual growth. That's why it's very, very undesirable. If you sacrifice your time instead of staying home with the family, watching the TV and having a good time with your friends and acquaintances, and you come to the temple and you endure the leg pains and recite the Buddha's name until you pass out, it's a lot of sacrifices, okay? For what? When you come here, we tell you it's to prepare you, pave a way for you to improve, okay? Your wisdom, your strength, your skills, okay? And if you don't pay attention to these outflows, basically, you're wasting your time. Yes? So we just gave you an example earlier that a lot of people in San Jose, for example, this group of San Jose like to recite the Buddha's name. So these people recite the Buddha's name all day long. Okay? Some even recite the Great Compassion mantra, a lot during the day, like 1,000 times. Okay? And they're not making progress because they have a huge temper. See that? So you practice, you build up all these things, and you flare up and burn everything up. That's a horrible outflow. It's a waste of time. Think about it. Okay? So that's why fundamentally, these people, when they recite Buddha's name or practice meditation and don't pay attention to the outflows, they're not getting anywhere. That's a problem. See, so that's a beautiful thing about Tran, and actually it's a beautiful thing about very practical aspect of life is avoid outflows. So far, so good. In particular, point number 3 about outflows is that there's certain type of outflow that are extremely, extremely dangerous. Okay? Especially in Tran. In Tran, does anyone know what is the most dangerous outflow in Tran meditation? It's not something we explain in the Chan classes because, this is Sixth Patriarch Sutra, so we raise the level a little. Yes, orange.
Master, I don't know, but I would guess. Could it be fear?
Fear? I feel for you. Next. Boom, San Jose.
Emitofuo Master, I'm guessing as well. Is it like someone in samadhi and then someone come and wake them up?
Not clear the answer. I'm not sure I get the answer.
Just like when you were explaining about the Flower Adornment Sutra, I forgot the Buddha's name. He was sitting and then the flower got stuck on his robe. Then he got out from his samadhi, so he was not adorned anymore.
Yes, in that general neighborhood, yes. Yes. Getting close. Anyone else? You too.
Diego says it's anger.
Anger. Absolutely. In the right neighborhood. What else? Who else? You too.
Tian Guo says it's lust.
Lust. That too. Very good. How about orange?
Giving up?
What?
Maybe giving up?
Giving up? It could be, yes. Raise your hand. YouTube answer.
Emily says afflicting thoughts.
Afflicting thoughts. Very good. Orange.
Master, is the doubt and loss of faith?
Lots of faith. Very good. White.
Thầy là những cái cảm thọ của mình trong khi mình thiền đó, thì nó vào những cái cảm thọ chẳng hạn, mình thấy mình siêu tuyệt, thấy mình có thần thông, hoặc là mình thấy mình thành công, cái ngã mình lớn quá, thì sẽ bị thiên ma nó nhập vào, nó dẫn theo cái đó.
Okay, feelings. Yeah, go ahead, translation. Yeah.
Master, I feel like that is the feeling when you meditate. For example, you have thoughts and then you feel that you are super, you have spiritual spiritual power, and then your ego grow bigger. That's when the demon came and caused trouble.
Okay, very good. Now, let me give you the answer, okay? I'm going to simplify it for you. When you recite the sutra, when you recite a mantra, when you recite the Buddha's name, when you do the Hua Tou, when you meditate, what are you doing? What's happening is that you building up your chi. Doesn't matter what you do, but the chi is building up right here. It's packing and packing and packing and packing in your navel, in your dantian. So far so good, it keeps on packing and packing and packing it. So far so good. That packing here will enable you to break through. Because it's like for you to go from this level to the next level, there's a barrier. Yes? Think of it as a barrier. So if the chi is strong enough, we'll break through this barrier. If it's not strong enough, we'll not break through the barrier. So far, so good. Is it clear? I give you a fundamental model of meditation. You build up this chi here. You need to build it up. Okay? There are two ways to do meditation, and I only teach you one way. The other, it's specialized training. I don't teach you. Okay? But you need to go through this first form of training is you build up your chi. You're not willing to build up your chi, there's not much hope for you. You have to pack it. You have to recite Buddha's name. You have to walk in meditation. Doesn't matter whatever you do. You need to build it up because that chi here will break through the barriers, okay? The flood barrier so that you can move up. So far, so good. It's the only way for you. If you will receive training, that's a fundamental skill you need to have. Whether you recite Buddha's name, same thing. You have to build up that chi. Doesn't matter. If you recite all day, if the chi doesn't build up, you have a problem. Okay? So you build up the chi so that it breaks through this barrier here so that it floods this thing so it rises. So far, so good? That's it. So anything that creates a leakage of the chi is not good for you, right? Because we're building it up, right? Is that clear? Very simple. And after I explain this, do not think you understand about Tran. I give you a very simple model. It doesn't mean it's everything, okay? There's a lot of ramifications, a lot of, decision trees and everywhere. But if you look at everything, the whole gizmo, okay? It's only two ways. The way build up chi is what I call brute force or finesse. Finesse, brute force, anyone can do. Finesse is much more involved. Okay? It's not applicable to a lot of people. So, okay? Remember, there are always pairs. There's brute force here, build up the chi, or the finesse. They're opposites. You see that? Aren't you impressed? I'm illustrating that your pairs are opposites. And speaking Dharma to you, by the way. Huh? Okay? I need a little bit of encouragement. Okay. So you need to build the chi, and then when you build that chi and you recite the Buddha's name for so long, and when you realize there's an outflow, you pay attention, right? You want to avoid the outflows because if you keep on building it up, it will overflow. That's it. That's what you want, naturally. Okay. So what stops it? Thoughts. Any kind of thought is a leakage. Some brutal Chan is, you sit there and a thought arises, oh my God, what am I going to have for lunch? Smells good. That's a leakage. So that's why ultimately the skill you acquire in meditation or in reciting the Buddha's name, reciting mantras on Saturday night, it's all the same. You spot those thoughts and you say, cut it out. That's stopping outflows. And this can apply to everything in life. You want to get rich? Yes. Building chi, replace with building your wealth, building your stash of money. An outflow would be what? Spending it. Being stolen. Right? So you guard against those things, that's all. Same concept. So far, so good? So that's why once you know how to do Chan, you become an excellent stock investment person. Because you watch for outflows. Don't think that we can't survive out there. We can survive very well, but we prefer not to. Okay? So that's why I want to stress to my people, in our training, by example, if I may advertise our program a little bit, especially the Koreans here who are still awake. The Koreans are very polite. Just look at that. The Koreans are very polite. In the U.S., we have a game of dart. That when people bend over and sleep like that, what? I didn't say anything. Okay, so who threw the dart? Huh? Koreans. Okay, so where are we? Anyway, doesn't matter. Let's skip the rest of it. So outflows here is very important. In Chan meditation, the presence of outflows here is presence of thoughts. Lack of outflows is lack of thoughts. You're in samadhi. So far, so good. Form and emptiness. Okay? Form, something you can see, you can feel. Okay? Emptiness, nothing there. All right? Motion and stillness. This is what scares people. You want to scare people? Don't move. People are used to movement. You don't move, they don't like it. They're scared. Deep down inside, how come he's no reaction? Is he dead? Does he like me? Or does he like me? Okay? So this motion and stillness here is very, very potent concept. Clarity and turbidity. Okay? Clarity of mind in particular. When you live your life, you want your mind to be clear. When you recite sutras, you want your mind to be clear, so he only thinks of the sutras. Doesn't have extraneous thoughts. So far, so good. Turbid. The mind can't move. Like in my case, this morning, it can't move. And those cassettes kept on falling down. It's cruelty. The common and sagely, common or the ordinary, okay, meaning no wisdom. You have no clues. Okay? Sagely here refers to the ability to see what is considered sagely in the world, in life, what's sagely. Let me give you the Buddhist definition of sagely. May I? In Buddhism, you're sage when you are not what? Kath, what is sagely in your world?
Well, in my own opinion, that essentially or holy is like the mass or the Eucharist, things like that. This will be holy.
So they don't know about sagely. They don't think about sagely. Okay, they think of happiness only. For us, happiness is sagely.
Can you repeat that again?
No, it's only for Buddhists. You guys wouldn't be able to understand. Happiness is sagely.
Well, there's two kinds of happiness: the happiness from the worldly happiness, and the happiness from
Sagely happiness.
That comes from something that is holy. Then, if it comes from the holy, then it's something else. But that's happiness.
Okay. Okay. Stay confused. It's okay. Yes, Green.
I think sageliness is bringing happiness to others.
Okay. Anyone else? Can I give you the answer? It's okay. Take a break. Give him the microphone. You keep on abusing him. Why does he keep? How does he take it so well? I'd be so pissed off and stand up. Yeah, I'm out of here. I'm going to the beach. Yes, sir.
So going back to the mass is sagely or is holy because it brings you happiness to living beings, to other angels, to other people in purgatory, to other people in the heavens, and to people on earth too. So that is sagely, that is holy. That's why we say holy.
Close.
Mass.
Close, but no cigars. Anyone else? Yes, Green.
Someone who is not afflicted.
Someone who's doing what?
Someone who is not afflicted.
Not afflicted. Okay, getting close, getting warm. Very good. Okay, let me tell you what sagely is. Sagely is not to be confused by appearances, by marks. That's why in Buddhism, the concept of mark, okay, the mark is whatever you observe outside, smiling face, angry face, loving face, hateful face, lots of money, no money, okay? All those are marks, whatever you can see, okay? Those are marks. Whatever you can see, perceive, have marks, okay? So what happens to ordinary people is that they're confused by marks, okay? For example, they see a person with an angry face. They say, "You don't like me. What did I do?" Right? Sounds familiar? What did I do? I was minding my business, and all of a sudden she looked at me. Okay? So we are confused by the anger. Therefore, we are not sagely. All right? What about a person who's not confused by anger at all? There's a difference between that and stupidity. Stupidity is that it doesn't recognize anger. That's why it's not affected by anger. The sage people recognize anger, but it's not affected by anger. Is that clear? All right. So sagely, so the common people are confused by external things, by marks, by appearances. That's why they're ordinary people. Oh, a cute baby or ugly baby. Yes? Lots of money, no money. Why do you keep on coming back to money? Excuse me. Okay? And so forth. So you see, we are ordinary because we chase after external things. And the sagely people, the people with wisdom, they are not confused by money or lack of money, love or lack of love, hate or like. It doesn't matter to them. That's called sagely wisdom. So far, so good? Why is it important? Because if you're confused by external things, then you are condemned to external things. You're condemned to repeat it, to live it. In other words, don't think this is just for Tran, but reciting Buddha's name people, if they're confused by externals, what are their chances of going to the Pure Land? Not very high. Does it make sense? It's very important. And that's why when you teach reciting the Buddha's name, reciting mantras, whether you follow Tibetans or you follow Pure Land, with Taiwanese and Chinese, whatever, okay? You practice Chan or so forth, okay? One of the fundamental skills you need to acquire, okay, is not to be turned by states, okay? That all of a sudden you're there and then someone comes to you and yells at you, you get angry, you're turned by state. Someone comes to you and says, "Oh, Master, I'm so happy to see you." And you say, "Oh, yeah. Finally, someone recognizes me." Okay, you turn by states as well. See that? So, that's why these concepts are very fundamental. You need to learn to recognize why it's desirable and what it takes to be sagely versus being ordinary. So far, so good? Okay, next, 36. Do we have time, Master Xianjie, or I'm out of time? I cannot see any clock. A few more minutes. 36, Sutra Text. Membership in the Sangha, membership in a lady, old age and youth, largeness and smallness.
生与俗对，老与少对，大与小对，此是12对也。
They're too wordy. There's no need to say membership. Okay? You simply say Sanghan and layperson. There's no need to say membership. It's, this is Chan text, supposed to be punchy. His style is very punchy. If we translate it, you need to observe the spirit of punchiness. One knockout, one punch, and it's a knockout. There's no, there's no, all right? These people are not boxers, clearly. See, Sangha was like, I'm true to myself. 37 is a commentary, okay? Old age and youth, okay? Largeness and smallness, okay? Next, 38. From the self-nature, 19 pairs of opposites arise. Length and shortness, deviance and orthodoxy, foolishness and wisdom.
自性启用19对，长与短对，邪与正对，痴与慧对。
Okay, so here they highlight this yellow thing here is because they didn't translate the Yung, which is function or use. Okay, so there's opposites in use. You can add in functionality arise right here. After opposites, add in functionality arise. That's all. If you want to be precise, because it's important to be precise here, because the patriarch is he's a genius in presenting the information, and this is kind of genius that is very difficult to understand. So that's important to preserve the exact wording as best possible. So you don't drop the word yung. Okay? So that's my take on that. That's why I would use 19 pairs of opposites in functionality arise. There you go. Thank you. Okay, so far so good? Okay, so the great master continues with, he says, okay, I dissect more for you, opposites for you, short and long, okay? Short monk versus tall monk. Deviant orthodoxy, yeah. They're orthodox, we're deviant. Foolishness and wisdom, we're wisdom and they're foolish. Next, 40, Sutra Text. Stupidity and intelligence, confusion and concentration, kindness and cruelty, morality and immorality, straightness and crookedness.
愚与智对，乱与定对，词与读对，戒与非对，直与取对。
Okay, now this is interesting. Okay, in 41, he says the opposites. When you debate, when you analyze the opposites here, that is, you need to pay attention. Okay, stupid and intelligence, right? Stupid is smart. That's clear. That's simple, right? Stupid can't get it. Smart can get it quickly. Stupid is that you can spend as long as all the time you want. It ain't going nowhere. But smart, they got it. Snap of a finger. So far, so good. See, the opposites. Confusion and concentration. Confusion is lack of concentration. How about that? If your children cannot concentrate, it's because they need to learn Chan. Questions, comments? Spy number 1.
Mô Phật bạch thầy, nãy thầy nói đó, mấy ông Khánh với Tiên đó, nó còn có rượu chè gì không thầy?
Có gì? Translation.
Master, you say about the sagely people, do they still drink?
Do you drink?
Khánh Tiên mà còn có rượu chè không? Còn có uống rượu mấy ông Khánh đó.
The sagely people in the heaven, do they still drink wine?
That's a hard question. Can I answer by telling you the story? I went to Korea, in Seoul, or Korea, and Sunims, the monks here, are very, very kind and compassionate. And they treated us very, very well. And nuns too, by the way. And this guest, the monk here, in charge of the guests at the big monastery, invited us to a vegetarian restaurant who is 1 star, 1 Michelin star. And you remember that story? I went in there, everything is beautiful, and they gave us a special tea. Very good for the soul. I drank it. I never felt that good since I left the home life. So the answer is, I don't know. But if I have to guess, yes? Master Xianjie, do you have a comment? Black.
Question. I just had a different question.
You have a different question?
Yes.
And let me answer this question first, and then you can ask your question. Okay. If I have to guess, okay? It's just a wild guess, and please do not tell others. Can we turn the camera off? What the heck? It's just theory, okay? It's not real. Okay. When you are confused, you're an ordinary, a common mortal, you need to observe the not drinking precept because it will cloud your head. So far, so good? It's not good for you. If you keep getting your head clouded like that, you cannot get enlightened. You cannot open your wisdom. That's why when you are confused, when you're an ordinary person, avoid drinking. In particular, drinking to the point where you get drunk and lose your clarity of mind. So far, so good. However, I'd like to think, you're drawing attention to this. I'd like to think that in the future, if you ever become enlightened and you go to one Michelin star vegetarian restaurant in Seoul, it may be possible to get drunk. Because once you're enlightened, who cares anymore? Naughty question. No more questions for a month. Yes, sir. She's trying to trap. I told you it's spy number one. Their purpose is to prove that we are deviant. Yes.
So my question was, you said you have to see your attachment before you can let it go. Often, though, if I'm not aware what my attachment is, it only makes me think more about it as I try to figure it out. It just makes me produce more thinking.
Repeat that. I didn't.
When sometimes I try to figure out what is my attachment in a situation, and it only makes me think more about what it is. I have to try to figure out what is the attachment, but it just.
You think you're in trouble.
Yeah. So how do I deal with that?
How to deal with that?
How to see
Stop
the
thinking.
Attachment. So how to see the attachment, I guess, if you don't see it.
In Chan meditation, in spiritual practices, it's called contemplating, not thinking. You're confusing contemplation with thinking. You have a problem. Let's say you have an affliction about your family, about yourself, whatever affliction it is. Okay? The typical person would sit there or stand there or walk around thinking about it. Yes? Let me think, let me think, let me think. Sounds familiar? Let me think about it. Okay, spy number one. I call them as who they are. I know all their evil intentions. Yeah.
Mô Phật và Thầy, bây giờ nói cái suy nghĩ, rồi cái người mà nói qua đó rồi không nói ra rồi quên hết tất cả, là cái người đó là người lẳng để người không suy nghĩ. Thầy nói cái người đừng có suy nghĩ, là cái người đó bây giờ cũng có như vậy, nói rồi cái qua cái quên rồi, là cái người đó không suy nghĩ, hoặc là cái người đó nó lẫn. Hai cái. Mà không biết làm sao phân biệt.
Yeah, she says she's forgetful, so as soon as she says that she forgets. I say it's Alzheimer's, it's normal. Okay, let me explain to you. You have this habit of thinking. Your family has a habit of thinking because you build your world, you engineer your world. Okay, you're proud of that, of your education, your training, your logic. So you think things through, which is a good thing for worldly things. If you want to we have a problem at work, you want to work on, you have to think, no problem. But meditation or spiritual practice is slightly different, okay? When you have a problem in meditation, for example, I told you my early example, okay? My mom created this hurt in me, and it's so deep, so profound. Never realized it. Okay? So, for 3 years, did I sit there and every night think, what happened? What did I do? Today? Yesterday? Last week? Last month? Last year? 10 years ago? 20 years ago? 30 years ago? Shall I keep going? When does it end? It's endless. You ever notice that? I'm describing to you what's happening, what's going on in your head. So if you do thinking like that, contrary to worldly problems, when you think like that, there's a limit as to how much time you have, you can afford to do that, right? Because your boss says, I need an answer tomorrow. So by tomorrow, you say, okay, this is all I got for you. Okay? But for you beggars who really don't have pressure, you keep on sitting there and think day after day after day after day after day. And it will go nowhere. Whereas for 3 years, what did I do? Every night I meditated and the pain came on. The pain, it hurts to the marrow. It's not the heart. You hurt in your heart. I hurt to my marrow. So when you have a heart problem, I can fix it because my hurt's at the marrow level, not the heart level. Heart is too low. You understand? If you face that pain to the level of the marrow, and you say, my God, it cannot get any worse than this. It hurts. First it hurts here, and then it keeps going down, go deeper and deeper until you say, whoa, it's my marrow now is hurting. The hurt is in my marrow, not my heart. What to do? Do you think? No, you think it doesn't help. So you sit there, I sat there for 3 years and look at the hurt. Every night it hurt. Every single night it hurts. It's going nowhere, it hurts. My point here is that when you practice, when you meditate, you recite Buddha's name, you have this affliction, you have this problem. You look at it. That's all you do. You don't think. I look at my hurt, my pain for 3 years, every night. Cannot wait until the light comes so that I can go do something and get my mind away from my hurt. Every night you look at the pain. That's it. It hurts. It's there. You can't avoid it. When you buy it, you're with yourself. You confront it with yourself. You only see the pain there. That's it. There's nothing else. And after doing that, after 3 years, all of a sudden, he said, it stopped. That's called contemplation. You don't think. So the difference is very important, folks. Allow me to clarify this point for you before we close today. This is very important in spiritual practices. Okay? Worldly people think. You think of how to fix your problem. We, when we practice, when we have a problem in our practice, we look at it. We contemplate it. We look at it only. We don't think. We keep on looking at it. Oh, that's the hurt. Oh, that's the pain. It hurts right here, in the knee, hurts in the hips. Oh. If you think, can you understand why it hurts? Of course you can't. You can think all you want, you cannot understand. So that's why part of your Chan practice, part of spiritual practice, is that we ask you to cross your legs and face the pain because you're forced to look at the pain and it's nothing else you can do. That's called contemplating the pain and stop thinking. The Chinese are geniuses. Okay? You have to give credit where credit is due. The Chinese are geniuses. They lost it. Now we have it. Thank you, everyone. See you next time.